sponsored by Shop G&O for the following season, everybody. Make sure you're checking out their brand new website launching on the 5th of May. If you sign up and become part of the members club, it's a £25 membership club, absolutely free, everybody. You can only get it through One Leeds. Competitive rates across the site as well. Better than Amazon, Vinted, and eBay. Make sure you check out Shop G&O. It is an e-commerce site which is tailored for all of your needs. Also, everybody, we are sponsored by Job Match Group. Talking about tailoring, make sure you check out this. It's got very specific job needs tailored to all of your every single needs. Make sure you check it out, everybody. Launching on the 6th of May. Well worth it. Finally, we're sponsored by the lads at Match Bingo. £2 per card, £5 for the price of 4. Get involved every match day, everybody. The QR code is in the corner. And let's get into the show, shall we? Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds, and you are here for the rumour mill. What is going on in your world? It feels like I see you lot more than I see my partner. Make sure you slap a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribing and all that good stuff to support content creators, everybody. It really means a lot, liking the video and subscribing. It just means the videos are a little bit higher ranked as well. And thank you so much for that. We actually have a interview with caddy legend and massive Leeds United fan, Billy Foster, right now on the Patreon. Make sure you check that out if you fancy it. We've obviously got our interview with Stuart Dallas, which is hitting, I think it's nearly on 20,000 views now. Make sure you check that out as well. We did a little bit of a recruitment plan last night with Gabe. In my opinion, he led it, which was quite interesting. We might go that way with a hard line. Him actually leading the show, me being almost the responder. And we spoke about certain transfer links by, from relegated clubs and obviously Sheffield United, which I think is a big way of which Leeds United are going to go down now in terms of recruitment, at least looking at certain players. So make sure you check that out. We've also got the rumour mills, which we won't be speaking about all of the things that we're speaking about the next day. So make sure you're checking out the previous days content as well. Everybody can see a lot of the regulars in the building. Morning, Connor. Hi, Lee. Tanya's here as well. Morning, Phil. How's it going, mate? How's everyone doing? Kyle, anyone heard of Jim Bob? A lot of people are asking me this. I heard of him late last night, this morning. So I've not listened to it yet, but I will do. So I'm not sure what he said. Morning, Connor, up the whites. Hey, mate, what's going on? Rough this morning. Morning. What's going on? Morning, Connor from Australia. How you, pal? How's it going? Chalky's in the building, etc., etc. Steve says, I'm not liking a video I haven't watched. All right, mate, it's your prerogative. It just helps the channel. It's a bit of a strange response there, mate, but okay, it's free for you to do so. And if you watch this every single day, or you're here for the One Leeds fan channel, and you are a subscriber or you're a viewer, it's your prerogative, of course, but it just helps, mate, when we're trying to put out free content every single day for you guys. I know, like myself, a lot of you watch it almost like it's YouTube, like it's TV nowadays. So you're effectively getting a TV subscription for free if you're tuning into One Leeds. So a like is really simple, mate. So thank you, and obviously it's your prerogative anyway. But no worries on that one. But fair enough. But yeah, as I say, everybody, we're speaking about, obviously, you can see the bits on screen today. We're going to be getting into the specific when it comes to players. But I wanted to start off with Manor Solomon. The reason I wanted to start this off is because what we do here, if you are new, is it's discourse, debate, discussion as well. It's not all consolidation. It's not all confirmed transfers. This is the rumour mill, but obviously we want to speak on points as well that you guys are interested in. And what was trending last night, what was quite interesting with myself and Gabe, was Manor Solomon. And the reason he is being spoken about right now is because I think there's a lot of murmurs, and it was a nice little highlights package that Leeds put together probably around about this time last week of Manor Solomon's goals for Leeds United. And it was just so interesting, the timing of it, because basically Marseille had pulled out. Marseille had pulled out of the Solomon negotiations, and then like a day later, Leeds effectively just posted this video. And for me, this is very, very much of Leeds signing him as the first one. That's what I can see. I see it as just being Leeds' first signature. I think it's going to be probably around 10 million quid, 10 to 15 million quid. Probably pushing 15, actually, when you're thinking about it. I think it was 10 at the start of the season. Now it'll probably be 15. But Leeds, according to reports, we're not going to 20, which I love that from Leeds United. I love that way of thinking, which is so different to what we've seen before with this club in terms of just being mugs in the transfer window. But fantastic. And if that is the case, I'm really, guys, I'll be honest with you, we've spoken about it. We've spoken about it numerous times on this show, but I'm still weirdly not sure. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just that Premier League, I keep using this word, but profile when it comes to Manor and what I think we have on that left-hand side when it comes to the likes of Willy Gnonto and Largi Ramazani. I don't need to go through the explanation of why I think it is those two and why they could be so effective, but I'm just very much like I would definitely rather spend that money on maybe a central attacking midfielder and a right winger. But what I will say is Leeds United might be getting rid of Willy Gnonto for PSR reasons, because the vulnerable players right now are Ilan Meslier, Pascal Strout, Matteo Joseph, and Willy Gnonto from a PSR perspective. And definitely two of those, in my opinion, will be sold. So Willy Gnonto is in that bracket right now. So would Leeds bring in Manor Solomon once again to be that supplementary player or that, obviously starting player, and Largi Ramazani be the backup to him, the backup dancer? I don't think football's linear. I think some people work in the Championship, some people work in the Premier League, some people work in both, and that's fantastic. But I look at someone like Largi. I think Largi's a Premier League player. I think Leeds bought him to be a Premier League player as well. I think they sold him that dream when they were bringing him in from Almeria. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, to be honest with you. Solomon, but then you look at Solomon with the goal return he's had this season, 15 million quid. Is it something that you do? I think the majority of the fan base would say yes. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. Let's have a look. Leeds also posted a video package for Dan James. They did indeed, mate. I think it's just more of the care for him, isn't it? And the care for Solomon and the rumours as well. There's a big bundle of rumours in and around Solomon from the Israeli side as well, and where he's going to be next. But it feels like there's only one suitor in for him at the minute, with Marseille pulling out. Obviously, as De Zerbi's apparently spoken to Manor Solomon and said for political reasons. So it is just Leeds United. So that's effectively how it feels right now. Apparently, that's not a position that Everton are focusing on either, and they're not willing to spend that sort of money. So it's interesting conversation. Interesting conversation. Sam says, do you think Sheffield United will struggle next season? I don't think they'll struggle, but it's going to be a lot harder. And I don't think that can be ignored. I think what we did in the market when we brought in when we had our recruitment drive was outstanding, and we were very, very lucky as well. Not to say we wouldn't have done well, but we were really lucky to say the division was as weak as it was. Two teams hitting 100 points is indicative of that. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be very difficult for them with the competition that they're going to have, 100%. Seriously, don't want any player from the Championship or relegated 3 catching you from down under. Shout out to you, Sean. Thanks so much, buddy. The 78 RPM says Solomon has worked in both Premier League and Champions League. Signing him is a no-brainer. Yeah, 78. I think there's truth to what you say, but there's also, I think that can be misled a little bit. I think 19 goals in his best campaign. 19 appearances, 19 goals. 19 goals. 19 games and 4 goals, I should say. Apologies for that. It's not ripping it up in the Premier League. He's not got many goals in the Premier League when you're looking at his time at Tottenham and obviously Fulham, because he's barely played. He's had serious injuries. He's not a proven Premier League player. He's not. That is facts when you kind of look at the evidence backing up his assists and his goals. It's not quite worked for him there. So it would be a risk. And it's a risk, obviously, because this is the best injury-free season he's had since he's been in the English pyramid. So yeah, these are things that these are facts, and we know facts don't take into consideration feelings. But what I will say on the back of what you're saying, 78, is the fact that he's had an unbelievable season for 15 million quid. Do you then take a risk on him? I can completely understand that sentiment, mate. I'm just very much in the middle at this moment in time. And football, I've said at the very beginning, if we get him for a good fee, I would take a punt on Manor Solomon. That's kind of where I'm at still right now. I'm definitely more like 55, 60 on the Manor Solomon. I just have a little bit of, in my head, I'm thinking to myself, if we do keep hold of Willy Gnonto, I think it is very reliant on what happens with Willy Gnonto on that left-hand side. in the Premier League was him as the star man. You know, I thought on that left-hand side in the Premier League, I know his goals and assists didn't replicate that, but Leeds were a terrible team in that final season in the Premier League, but he was so dangerous off that left, and I think that's his best position, and obviously that's Largie's best position as well. So numbers-wise, it would tell you that if we keep hold of Willie and we keep hold of Largie, it doesn't really then make sense to go out and get Manor Solomon if you're just talking about it logistically, because you're just too stacked on that left-hand side. Does Willie work on that right-hand side? I think he does, but I think naturally with the ball being in front of him on that right-hand side and him not being able to manipulate it on the flank and then cut inside, which you do see him try to do on that right-hand side, it's a lot harder for him, I think, because he doesn't have that raw out and out pace. So I think when he's cutting inside on that left hand side, he's very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. I'm not 100% sure on him on that right hand side. Not 100% sure. So yeah. Price needs to be right for Solomon. Otherwise, we can get as good, if not a better decent from around Europe. Patrick says, any chance you're coming to Ireland for the Leeds AC Milan friendly? To all the Irish followers as well, I already have the hotel and flights booked. So I ain't missing that for the world. If someone can get me a ticket, that'd be great, but I'm probably going to end up paying over the odds for it. There's absolutely no way I'm missing that. A lot of nostalgia for me. Players do improve. Solomon, James, etc. have improved under Farke. Keep an open mind on who can step up. It's not about that, Kirsch. It's more about the risk versus the reward. That's what it is. And the expenditure on a certain player obviously includes wage structure as well, not only transfer fee. And it's what Leeds have in that position already. We have the left-hand side sorted without Solomon anyway. They're the facts. They are the facts. That left-hand side is sorted without him. What's not sorted is the cam and the right-hand side, if you are to put Nonto on that left-hand side, which is where he's played a lot of for Leeds at the top level. See what I mean? So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it anyway. Scottish Leeds fan says, morning, Connor. See the bookies have us 8-11. Faves to go straight back down before a ball has been kicked. Always, mate. It's so easy, isn't it? It's so easy. Roland says, Ramazan isn't proven in the Premiership and has had injury already. We need more depth for the Premiership, Connor. We need to stay up. Yep, fair enough, mate. No worries. No worries. And I get it. I get it. But it's just the risk versus reward. One season, injury-free, not proven in the Premier League, and maybe a big outlay. I don't know. Is it going to be 20 million? I hope it's not. But if it's sort of 15 plus, that's all I'm saying, guys. I'm just trying to be as neutral as possible. However, what I will say on the other side is proven season, knows the club, plays in the system well with Daniel Farke, and was the X factor this season. You know, so there's a lot of pros and cons with it. I'm just trying to provide a little bit of balance, not just let's go out and get him for any price, because I think that's a bad way of thinking about it, to be honest with you. Although it is kind of what I said about Ben White when it happened. Connor, surely keeping Nonto, James, Largie, and adding cover for obvious injuries. Internationals make sense. We need a bulky squad. Yeah, we do, mate. 100%. We do indeed. It's just whether or not you can think of an alternative. But that's the beautiful thing about Solomon, I guess. When you're looking at a player of that caliber for 15 million quid, if Leeds can afford it, because we've just got to think about how much we can afford this year as well, and what we're actually going to put in the transfer kitty. That depth is good, mate. 100%. I think it's kind of like you're looking at it right now, and I'm thinking to myself, in that cam role and that right wing role, I think you can really invest in there. I think right now, if that left you sorted, I think Leeds are sorted right now, because you've got two players who prefer playing on that left anyway, and who are better on that left. So effectively, we're adding cover for the left when we can add cover over here, for me. Connor, Scott McTominay. Oh, imagine, mate. I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. But yeah, that would be nice. Okay, let's move on to some of the really good rumours that are around today, and I know we like to discuss them as well. So I wanted to touch on, basically, before we get into this as well, Brenden Aaronson. Now, there's a lot of rumours going around about clubs and what Leeds are doing right now, blah, 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 when it comes to it. This guy, according to multiple reports, is what Leeds United are targeting in terms of a number 10/advanced 8 replacement, whatever you want to call Brenden Aaronson. I think that's the right move. I think we all know it's the right move. Brenden has played pretty much, I think, more minutes than everyone, barring Joe Rodon. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think that is how many minutes he's played this season. And a lot of rumours today and over the past couple of weeks when we've been linked to El Canus, we've been linked to Fernandez, we've been linked to James McAtee. That, for me, insinuates the end for Brenden Aaronson at Leeds United. Now, the conversation then is, what does Brenden do? Is Brenden going to be okay with a bit of bench option and trying his absolute heart out to get back into the side? I think Brendan's going to be good with that. I think we're going to be okay with that. And we've got to really as well look at the value. We brought Brenden in for a big amount of money. We've got to think if we are to sell him on for a big loss, that doesn't look great. So Leeds United might have to really work within this and work within the parameters of Brenden Aaronson. So could it be a loan out somewhere? That would probably be what I'm looking at again. But would Brenden want to do that again in his career? I'm not 100% sure. But how much money can Leeds realistically go and fetch for Brenden Aaronson now? I don't think we can fetch... I don't think there's any way you fetch. I mean, if Solomon's costing Leeds potentially 15 million quid, are we going to get 15 million for Brenden Aaronson? 10, 50? We're just not, are we? It's going to, you brought him in for 30 million quid, which we did. Put him on a big contract. Obviously, amortization applies. PSR is a massive thing now, isn't it? I mean, what 8 million? 8 million, it doesn't look great, does it? So Leeds, I don't know what they do with Brenden Aaronson. I'm not sure what they do with him, to be honest, but there's been so many things. Hamer been another one who, if he came into Leeds, he will be as a 10, 100%. He's not going to be playing left wing like he did for Sheffield United. So it's a really interesting conversation point, in my opinion, before we actually even get onto some of the rumours that are linked to the club today. James says, how much would we get for Aaronson? Who would buy him? This is what I mean, mate. This is where I'm kind of at, to be honest with it. Mira, hi, Mira. How's it going? Good to see you in here. Surely we could go for Pavel Such to replace Brendy. I was like, who's Brendy there? Mira, you're going to have to let me know who Pascal Sulk is, my friend. Please let me know. Send me a DM and we can talk about it. Or some of you chat who are very intelligent and probably more well-versed than I am. In fact, you all are. So you might be able to tell me who he is, but shout out to you, Mira. Thanks for the donation. Leeds says, Connor, do you think the 49ers will bring in another American if we sell Aaronson for shirt sales in the US? I don't think so, mate. The reason behind that is because I don't think there's many Americans that are paving the way at the minute. I think there's a bit of a problem in the American game when it comes, especially to the US men's national team. Could the club keep Aaronson as the America poster boy ahead of the next World Cup? What I love about you guys is it's not even about the playing staff, is it? It's about the marketing. It's about the globalization. What can Leeds market to an American audience? I like it, but you got to think, everybody, as well. Our owners are the San Francisco 49ers. We are back in the Premier League, so Leeds are going to be everywhere when it comes down to it. I don't think we brought in Brenden Aaronson initially because of a marketability to the US. I think it was just a bit of a co-contributor. I don't think we brought in Tyler Adams for that, Weston McKennie, although now I'm thinking about it, Jesse Marsh. No, I don't think it was because of that, to be honest with you. I think it was just because they were good players, and you're still now seeing that with Tyler Adams for Bournemouth, aren't you? Although they do have an American owner, so no, I don't think that's why, to be honest. Paul says, who buys him? We want to recoup some money so that the German teams aren't going to come in for him. Morning, Connor. Hi, Knox. How's it going, buddy? But yeah, I just don't think it's going to be interesting what we do with him. I think he's a bench guy, though. I think he's a bench guy. Okay, a lot of people were a bit upset when we were talking about this guy later. In fact, we'll speak about him in just a little bit. We're going to move on to the next one in terms of the transfer link as well. But we are going to speak about this guy, Promise David. Now, a lot of people got upset with me because I mentioned him being Nigerian. Now, when I was talking about him being Nigerian, obviously, I believe he has Nigerian parents, so he's Nigerian heritage as well. So you're looking on the sites, it's not all about him being from Canada, from being from Brampton, Canada. So apologies to all the Canadians in there who I got that wrong last week. He is Canadian, very well aware of that. But there is a price tag. Now, the market value for Promise David is around about 12.5 million quid. However, the market value has him down as 20 million euros. 20 million euros, which I think would be an excellent bit of money. We'll just update that on here, actually. So 20 million euros. We'll just put 20 mil. Okay, we'll put 20 mil down there. So yeah, 20 million, and apparently that is what will get him out of Union. So had a really good season, 23 years of age, and look at the clubs that are competing. And that's a big indicator to me that Leeds are going down the right route with someone like him. When you get in these clubs who apparently are very, very interested in Promise David this morning, when you're looking at the rumour mill, But Leeds are obviously looking at him and they are very keen on him, according to a lot of reports. And these aren't just reports coming out of Leeds and all this sort of stuff. These are reports coming from the European circuit as well. So 23 years of age. He's a big lad, 6'5", rapid, very, very quick. 19 goals in the Belgian league. And I've compared this season numerous times the Belgian Pro League in terms of standard to that of the Championship. So you're looking at maybe Joel Prue this season scored 19 goals in 44 appearances. Promise David has scored 19 goals in the Belgian Pro League as well. And is very keen to play abroad, apparently. So yeah, this could be a really good move for Leeds. Once again, it's the profile again that we've been speaking about with like Liam Delap and Beto. Big lad. Would help and would facilitate counterattacks for Leeds United as well, would occupy not one but two defenders, looks physically like he would acclimatise to the Premier League. Look, we don't know until he's over here. We have no idea, but the European circuit and obviously further afield, like, you know, obviously when it comes to Promise David being Canadian, but obviously been in that Belgian Pro League as well. So the mesh of both when it comes to where he's from, where he's played and where he's currently playing is a big thing. But for me, he's got a lot of the attributes from when you look at Promise Davis and when you look at his compilations to fit into this Leeds United side. And it could be a really nice pickup for 20 million euros. So we'll wait and see on that one. But you guys let me know. That is his Champions League record, by the way. He played in the Champions League and then he's also played in the Europa circuit as well, which on the data package, this is kind of all we've got, as you can see there. Brentford and Brighton interested in, which speaks volumes. That's kind of where I'm at. To be honest with you, mate, that's kind of where I look at when it comes to him. When it's like Brighton, when it's Brentford, I think to myself, ding, ding, ding. It's like with Rutter. It's like we sold Rutter to Brighton. It kills you, doesn't it? But it's still like, yes, there we go. And that's why kind of when I've looked before and you guys like, Connor, you're obsessed with Brighton when it comes to the loan market, but you look at the players that they bring in and you look at the success rate. And this is kind of like this Moneyball data approach of which Tony Bloom has put into Brentford, which Matthew Benham has put into Brentford. And now you're getting KLD do it with Sunderland as well. I'm hoping Leeds United are going to replicate this. There's been a lot of talk as well about AI supplementing a data approach recruitment model as well, which I think is going to become the new thing as well. Apparently, Tony Bloom is a big advocate of that at Brighton. So that could be really cool and could be an interesting sort of way of which Leeds United are going to go around. But what we do know about the Niners is that is their recruitment approach as well. You know, really focusing on the data, really focusing on, you know, low cost for players. And this is why, like a lot of people have been saying, Connor, there might be some surprises in there. And I think you're completely right. Completely right, 100%. Okay, where does he play? He plays up front. I like 6'5", considering our team of midgets. Yeah, okay, fair enough. If we're competing for Brentford and Brighton, I think we struggle to attract him. Yeah, but you got to be in it to win it, mate. You got to be in it to win it, haven't you? And Leeds do have some serious pull for me, in my opinion. Could we not play Peru as a deep striker like a 10 and buy a proper number 9? Or we could just do both, Lewis. We could do both, mate. Mark's talking about Hamer as well. Your bow was a beast. Need another similar type. Shout out to you, Tim. Not a bad shout at all. Scored 19 goals in a league that's ranked higher than the Championship. 17 million seems good value. Someone's just mentioned J. Roy Grott as well. I'm not even going to touch on that because that's upset me highly. Okay, let's move on to the next rumour on the mill this morning. It is Aaron Cresswell of West Ham United. Now, rumours are coming out this morning, really, really heavily linking Leeds United with the left back. I think Firpo's not going to be a Leeds United player by the end of proceedings, which I don't mind, to be honest with you. I like Junior. I like the work that he's done with Leeds United in the Championship. Do I think he would then be able to acclimatise to the Premier League? I do not, personally. I think he will still struggle in the Premier League. And I think that his positioning, even this season at points, when he's been completely dominant on that left-hand side and been the best left back in the league, has been wanting at points. Sometimes I think you can get that crossfield ball into that effectively left back position when he's a little bit higher up the pitch. And we saw it a little bit last season where he's left wanting, he's gone forward a little bit and there's a bit of a crossfield ball into that pocket there. But the brilliant thing about this season is we've had excellent centre-backs who read the game, in my opinion, perceptively a little bit better than they did last season. So that centre-back naturally covers that position, or that central midfielder covers that position as well, which we've seen really effectively this season. When Leeds have been in possession at points, there's been 3 at the back, and one of those 3 comprises of a central midfielder as well, and that's normally covering Firpo's positioning when he's gone forward. I don't think we get that luxury in the Premier League. I think in the Premier League, there's points of which Leeds are going to be piling forward, and we're going to get crucified on the counter-attack because that is the quality of the best league in the world. So I don't mind letting Firpo go. Now, the attractive thing about someone like Aaron Cresswell is the fact that even this season he's played, 18 games for West Ham United. As you can see there, he's 35. Is that wanted experience, leadership that we had with Joshua Gilavoggi, 100%? Would you be looking at bringing in another left back as well as Aaron Cresswell? Of course you would. But as one of the two, for a free, I don't mind that at all. I really don't. I think if you're bringing him in to start, that's what I'd worry about, to be honest with you. But West Ham aren't willing to offer him a new contract. If you can go to a club and this club is willing to start him week in, week out in the Premier League, then fair enough, he's probably going to go there. But if I'm hoping that Leeds United would offer him not the starting spot, but would say, look, you're going to be competing with another said left back, Josh Doig, Luca Netz. If we're to bring in players of that ilk, who for me are a little bit more left backy. I've mentioned this several times. I don't really want a left wing back, an out and out left wing back. I want somebody who can get forward and who can supplement the Daniel Farke style of play. But I also want to be going into next season and apply the Thomas Frank managerial position, which is why Thomas Frank is one of the best managers in the world. Brentford were an absolute attacking machine in the Championship. They went up to the Premier League and everything changed. Everything changed. They became a little bit more set piecey. They became very, very big when you look at the recruitment that they brought in the first and second window that they were in the Premier League. And they focused a little bit more on being defensively resolute as opposed to being just absolute all-out attack like they were in the Championship. That is pragmatism. That is adapting to your situation. And I'm hoping that Leeds do that a little bit when it comes to the recruitment in certain positions. And that comes down to real basic fundamentals. I'd rather a left back as opposed to a left wing back, unless we're playing a back three. Well, if we're playing a back three, fine, but I don't think we will. So if you're playing a 4 at the back, I don't want a left wing back. I think you've already got that on one side, and we know Bogle's going to be starting, and we know what Bogle's like at points, but you don't want that on either side, because I do not want the arrows coming down Leeds United's left and right hand side, because I think we'll get picked off in too many transitions and even counter attacks. So we've got to be really careful in that respect, and that is why I would not renew Junior Firpo's contract. I like Junior; he's been unbelievable, but I want Leeds to go out and sign 2 left backs, and I think that will be the consideration. I think Cresswell's a good option in terms of if our starting left back isn't available. Cresswell has won a European trophy in recent times as well, which you cannot underestimate. But 18 times this year as well. Set pieces are massive with Cresswell as well, because if we are facilitating, let's say, a Promise David, we are, we've got out and got Jacob Bijol from Udinese, and we're looking at these marginal gains. I wanted to bring something to you this morning, everybody, and it's relevant to what I'm just saying. The bottom 5 set piece scorers in the division, 3 of them comprised of the promoted 3. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. And look, we might say football's evolved, but it shouldn't really evolve when it comes to marginal gains. You go back to your Burnleys of old under Dyche. You go back to your Stoke Cities and all this sort of stuff. Teams who are big, they're physical, they're athletic. They are not accustomed to playing on the ball and being able on the floor and being able to compete with the top teams in this in the top division, which will be us, have to get the marginal gains from set pieces, from corners. And for me, Leeds United, set piece delivery has been a problem for years. And at least what you get with someone like Aaron Cresswell is a world-class delivery into the box. So I'm not saying he'd be starting week in, week out, but as an option and really getting those marginal gains when it comes to set pieces, and the embarrassment of the 3 that went up last season being in the bottom 5 when it comes to set pieces, it's nowhere near good enough. And I don't want Leeds to be anywhere near that. We need to be aiming to be in the top 10 in the Premier League in terms of set piece precision. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Tierney and Cresswell. Tierney's got a contract agreement, mate, with Arsenal. So yeah, free and brings experience to the dressing room under PSR. To look out of contracts and loans to complement signings. Also allows investment in high quality players. Tim, way too old. Chilwell is weak. I think this is previous conversation you guys are talking about. Scott's in the building. Good morning. Seen a lot of Leeds fans calling for you to sign Hamer and Cooper after our final fall. Can you see Leeds spending 35 to 45 mil of your budget on them 2 players? Good to see you in here, Scott. No, I can't, mate. I can't when you're talking about Cooper and when you're talking about Hamer. I know there's a lot of discussion about it. I think the big thing is, Scott, this one, God, we've got loads to get through this morning. The big thing this regarding Hamer, Scott, is it wasn't just that you that were interested in him. We were interested in him when he was at Coventry. And then obviously confirmed by our CEO, we were in for him last season as well. And you guys kept hold of him. Next season or this season coming up, I can see Leeds testing the waters again. I can see that happening. But you are quite right. I'm not 100% sure how much we would be willing to spend it. There has to be a cap with Hamer. There has to be a cap with him. You're not in the greatest position in terms of being able to defend him as well, in terms of defend that price bracket that we might come in with him now with obviously what's happened. But I'll be honest, Scott, and you will probably laugh yourself silly with this, mate. I won't be going over 15 million for him. I wouldn't be going over 15 million. Ask me a year ago, I'd have probably said, yeah, I mean, I'll go north of that. Right now, I'd be lowballing Sheffield United negotiation-wise, and I wouldn't be going over that. With the data recruitment strategy we've got, I feel that Leeds United could identify targets that are equal or maybe better than Hamer for a cheaper price. Once again, mate, bear in mind, we brought Ramazani in and Al Tanaka for a combined fee of around about 10 million quid. I'll be hoping that Leeds United... Oh, thank you. Coffee? Has anybody got a girlfriend that good? Or is it just me? But yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking at with it, Scott, to be honest, pal. That's where I'm looking at. I think Leeds United's strategy will be very, very good this year. I like Hamer, Scott. I'll be honest. I do really like him. I've always liked him. It's annoying how much I like him. But for me, mate, there's got to be a cap on him. Like there's a cap on Manor Solomon. We cannot be spending ridiculous amounts of money. You've got to take into consideration PSR. We've got to consider what positions drastically need improving with Leeds United. The spine is the big thing, of course. And I do like Hamer. I'll tell you what, if we brought him in, I wouldn't be playing him off the left at all. But is he an improvement on Brenden Aaronson? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I would not be spending more than 15 million on him. Matty says, seen someone on Twitter say they take... Oh, mate. Matty, no way, mate. Absolutely no way. Top basement championship player in, mate. No way. No way. Not for me. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, bud. That's where I'm at. But it seems like quite a lot of you are on the ball as well when it comes to the set piece. Has been really important for Leeds United this year, which I would agree with. Right, hold on a sec. Right, who are we on to next? Okay. Will this annoy a lot of you? Probably. This morning, publications. I was actually sent this by someone who I used to work with. Someone who I used to work with. So I don't know if he's just... I'm not going to name him. But I don't know if he's just created this, to be honest with you. But I'll be honest, someone said to me this morning, and it's not out there really when it comes to publications, but someone who I used to work with, you guys are all very aware who I used to work with if you are with me on this. Someone said to me, keep an eye on this for Leeds regarding this guy. And obviously after my problems with him and when I was coming out the other day on stream and saying, please, God, no, he just said, keep an eye on it. So, yeah, I mean, we know with Fenerbahce, they are really, really high on Rasmus Hojlund. It could be a loan. It could be a loan to an obligation. But yeah, and there's a couple of like meek reports suggesting that Leeds might go in for it. But this individual told me this morning that just keep an eye on Leeds for it as well. They might test the water. So this is a bit of a fun one. But if you do type in Rasmus Hojlund as well online, you will see him linked with Man United. So I don't know if there's smoke without fire and all that. But the only way I could ever see this working is if Leeds were to bring him in on loan. I don't see Leeds. I mean, they brought him in for 75 million quid. They're going to want to recoup a bit of that, obviously, with maybe a loan to an obligation where he can go somewhere, or maybe a loan with an option. You know, he goes somewhere like Fenerbahce, scores a bundle of goals out there, comes back, and then like Anthony for Man United, or like McTominay and Lukaku and players like this who've gone elsewhere, done all right. You know, they might be able to get a decent value for them. But I've said this before about this guy. I think he's absolutely dirt as a striker. I think he's terrible. I think all the components of a good striker, he hasn't got any of them. Movement, perception, any sort of goal threat, physicality, aerial prowess, ball striking. I think he is bottom basement. Someone said to me the other day, he'll get back to scoring again. Where did he score? Where did he score loads of goals? It's never happened. I mean, he's only young. There's development there, but I think the basics of him as a striker are way off from watching him. And I always say it to some of the scummer mates I've got here. I always say to him, I've no idea what he brings. He's possibly the worst striker they've ever had, I think. I genuinely believe that. So, yeah, no way. No way. Not for me anyway. I won't be looking at him. Look, I know there's the profile of Man United, but there's not even that glow anymore. They're an absolute show of a football club. But now they're all buzzing after yesterday. Oh, we're back on it. We beat Aston Villa. We're back. United are back. All that rubbish. So that's what I'm having to deal with being here a lot. So, yeah, no, but nowhere near, lads. Nowhere near this guy. Højlund would cook at Leeds. Everyone is completely disagree. Chris, we're on. It's not the. I mean, you're putting him round technically better players at Man United. They're the facts. They have technically better players when it comes to like Amad Diallo, when it comes to Bruno Fernandes. These are good footballers. And this is the gap that we're going to have to bridge. We can all take the mickey out of them, but you are then putting Rasmus Hojlund with a worse team, which Leeds United will be. They will create more chances than Leeds United at Premier League level, 100%, because they're just a better team, even though they're terrible this season, but they have better personnel on the pitch, better technical footballers. He, as the fundamentals of a striker, you guys know I don't come on here and talk about strikers like this. I just don't. But as a striker, everything is off with him. Just watch him. Everything is off. I don't know what he does. And a lot of the falterings when it comes to actually him putting the ball in the back of the net is down to him, because they will create chances for him, but he's just terrible at converting, but also being able to get into the. You look at some of the shots that he put across the face of goal. He's nowhere to be seen. And we need those marginal gains. We need a perceptive striker. We need the striker at least who's going to get us Liam Delap numbers. This guy can't do it in a better team. No way. No way I go near him. Yeah, so not for me. Let's just get into a couple of conversations as well when it comes to your comments. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Højlund is good when he was at Atlanta, mate. Was he? He scored 10 goals, mate. Scored 10 goals. Scored 4 goals this season. I don't know if he was good. I think they took a punt on him because he was young. He took a punt on him because he was young. Because they were young, sorry. Might as well get Steve Evans up front. Look at Anthony saying you wouldn't have him because he was Dyer there. There's a player there. Wait and see. No, but it's context, Chris. It's context. And we are in the Premier League. If Anthony was loaned out to another Premier League side as well, would he be able to do what he's done now at Real Betis? When the pressure is off, the pressure will still be there for Højlund at Leeds, 100%, and he's having to do it in the Premier League for a team that's going to be fighting relegation. There's a lot more context, mate. Heard we like Huang. Yeah. Tom says, lovely to catch a live from sunny Australia. Hiya, mate. How's it going? Let's move on to the next one anyway, shall we? But yeah, no, look, Chris, I'm not disparaging your comment there, mate, or saying that it's not worthy, of course, and you could be right and I could be wrong. Who knows? Could sign him and he could keep us up, and then who's going to be laughing? Once again, Brighton involved. I wanted to just move on to a quote about, Jurgen Klopp saying not long ago that everybody knows about Kasper Dolberg, saying effectively that Jurgen Klopp was discussing him as one of the top bracket players when it came to youngsters coming through. And that was in around about 2018, 2019. A lot of the time I've compared the Belgian Pro League to that of the Championship in terms of standard. So obviously we are leveling up literally by probably 7-8 tiers by going to the Championship to the Premier League, because that is where the Belgian Pro League is. There's a conversation that the Eredivisie might be slightly higher, I'd say, with the likes of Ajax, Feyenoord and PSV in terms of standard. But I've always said like the mid to lower bracket teams in the Eredivisie, I think the Championship teams are better and could compete and probably have more sort of affluent budgets. But I look at the Belgian Pro League, and that's probably a pretty decent comparison. So that's what we're having to step up with now. That's the level. Now, the reason I mentioned that is because Kasper Dolberg, if we are comparing the Belgian Pro League to that of the Championship, has got a fair few goals this season in comparison to that of Joel Peru, of which we're obviously massive fans of, with him being a Leeds United player. But he has scored. He's played 44 games this season. And scored 24 goals. Peru obviously playing like 44 and getting 19 goals as well. Now, there's been a lot of rumours when it comes to Leeds and strikers. Another one of that league has been Troy Parrott. Troy Parrott at AZ Alkmaar, but apparently Alkmaar have come out today and said that he's going to be worth 25 million quid. Run away, Leeds United. Absolutely no. The former Spurs academy product, not for me, Troy Parrott. Don't mind him, but I've said this before. I think he'd be a really decent championship striker. I'm not convinced of Troy Parrott whatsoever. But someone like Kasper Dolberg, I think, has proved, when you look at his time at Ajax, when you look at his time at Sevilla, when you look at his time on the international stage as well with Denmark, and there's a little bit more proof in the pudding there. Once again, the market value is 12.5 million. The issue is apparently Brighton are now circling out of nowhere. Brighton. But yeah, Leeds are apparently still really interested in him. And as I've said, we mentioned it the other day on the rumour mill that I think this would be a really nice little I think this would be a really nice little addition for Leeds United. Andrew said, smash a like, only 177. Guys, we have, let's have a look on YouTube, how many of you guys are in here. Across all platforms, there's 1,600 of you in here this morning. We've got nearly 1,000 of you in here this morning. That's nearly a 10th of you who haven't liked the video. Guys, I really appreciate it. Please smash a like on the video if you're enjoying the discourse, the discussion, debate, and the room mill. I'm not giving myself any time off here, all right? The window starts on the 1st, and I've given myself no time off. I'm still going on the off season. So do me a favor as I drink about my 8th coffee this morning. Slap a like on the video, please. Evan Ferguson, links have gone quiet. My choice will be Promise up front personally. I don't think Brighton go for him, but interest that shows he's decent. Knox just liking everything that Brighton do. James, look at that for a picture. What a picture. James just coming in with the... I don't know why, James. Didn't expect that as your picture, mate. Thing with Dolberg is that he's had a massive hype and slightly flopped when he's had transfers. I guess the thing is, James, is it's risk versus reward, isn't it? Again, mate, if you're slapping 12 million quid down, he's done it for Denmark. He's played at the top level, hasn't he? When you look at these clubs that we mentioned, Ajax, Sevilla, Anderlecht, would it overawed him come to Leeds United? I don't think it would. The good thing is, well, the thing that we need to think of as well when it comes to Leeds fans, and I'm the exact same when it comes to this, what we need to think of is these players coming in actually hitting the ground running. If they don't come to Leeds, if they come to Leeds and don't hit the ground running, it doesn't matter about recruitment. You almost have to have a Liam Delap-esque signing, right? You have to, with a fair few of your signings, know that they're going to come in and hit the ground running. And if they don't, you're going to fall, or they're going to, you and them are going to fall. So it's, yeah. No to Dolberg, says Mark. Why? Let us know. Morning all. Hi, Lenny. How's it going? Yeah, Burkhardt from Mines. You're reading you're speaking my language, mate. Speaking my language. How late am I, Connor? About 45 minutes, mate. Morning, Dormston. A lot of you guys join in a little bit later on. Normally, guys, we go at the Ice Steve. Normally we go in and around the 10 o'clock mark. So every morning. Dexys, what's your opinion on the Kostovic rumors? Quite like the profile, but Leeds have just avoided relegation. So we'll be able to demand a good fee. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a massive fee. Would it make for Leeds? I'm not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, can't profess to have watched him a lot, mate. So that's my honest take on it. Okay. Here we are. The big one today. The big one. Here we go again. Okay. Where do we start with this one, Connor? Where do you start? Right. Okay, let's start with the facts. Leeds went in for Max Aarons, is what I keep saying about Gus Hamer. Leeds have gone in for these players. Leeds normally revisit these players. Max Aarons, we got pipped by Bournemouth. Apparently, he had a bit of a change of heart. Went to Bournemouth ahead of Leeds United after being at Leeds' training ground. Dagger to the heart. And actually went beyond his former manager in Daniel Farke. So bear that in mind anyway when it comes to the manager, of course, and went to Bournemouth. Bournemouth came in last minute. Leeds have been sort of after him. It felt like for about 2 or 3 weeks. We managed to get him, through the medical bits, bats and the other, and it didn't quite work. Obviously, Bournemouth came in last minute. That's the problem. When you look at these vultures of the Premier League, they'll come in and get him, and this is what we need to take advantage of as well, being a Premier League club. So he's been at Valencia under Carlos Corberán, who's had obviously an unbelievable season. He's been on loan from Bournemouth, and he's had, look, the positives are with Max Aarons, 90 Premier League caps, It's played under the manager, which I wanted you to bear in mind, and this is going to be a massively reduced fee. Bournemouth are willing to let him go for 12 million quid. Obviously, this looks good for them as well. Not making a massive operating loss. The negatives for me are, I mean, Valencia have been outstanding this season when Corbrand's come in. He's had limited time under him. Once again, the profile of the player. Would you classify him as more of a right back or a right wing back? He's only 25 years of age. I think if we're to go out and have, I just think Max Aarons, he'll demand playing time, and you've kind of got to say to players like, even Cresswell, if Cresswell was to come in, and Aarons, you've got to say, look, you're not substitutes here. You're fighting for that position. I keep saying this to everyone as well. You've got to keep that standard high. If Aarons is to come in, he's got to say, you've got to say to Max, you've got to say, look, that position is yours if you want it. If you want it, you fight with Jayden Bogle and you're going to get it. That's the competition you have. You don't go in and say to a player, you say, you're going to be back up to Jayden Bogle. You don't do that. You say, that right back position is yours. You've just got to impress me. I don't care how good Jayden's been. I don't care if it's based on a meritocracy. If you're to go out and get Max Aarons, you say to him to get the best out of Max Aarons and the best out of Jayden Bogle, that right back position to fight in the Premier League. Who wants it? Impress me, sort of thing. And I think that's probably the way you get the best out of them. Now, the ones I'd throw into the hat is Nelson Semedo at Wolves, who's obviously been captain of Wolves as well very recently, going out, available for a free. The one that I don't think will do, but I know there is always a chance with Sunderland that we do this, and it's the one I have been banging on about for 2 seasons now. Trey Hume, he is, and he's going to be a Premier League player now. He is everything that I want. I want him so much. Our fan base would love that guy. Would love him. Definitely a potential walking red card, though, with some of the tackles he's put in this window. When you look at this season, sorry, when you look at the one with a fantastic one on Ben Brereton Diaz, I cheered that on the watch along. But the one on Solomon as well, where he's absolutely smashed Solomon, but he's got the ball. It's a brilliant tackle, David Batty-esque, but he is the one. And Sunderland, the good thing about Sunderland is because of their approach to football and recruitment, there is always a price on a player's head. I don't think any player is out of bounds for Sunderland at all. I know they're in a very strong position, which we need to take into consideration when it comes to PSR. We all know that, extremely strong. But I do always wonder with Sunderland if you can test the water, and teams have done it before, and I think you can. He, for me, he's a right back. He's a monster at defending. I think 1v1, he's excellent. And I think going forward, he's decent. I think he's got captain-like tendencies. He's young. What a bit of recruitment from Sunderland that was. But even if you're giving me like Max Aarons compared to like Trey Hume, I'm like, it is Trey Hume every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. Every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. If you're giving me Trey Hume in comparison to Semedo, I'm going Trey Hume. I think the potential of this kid is very, very, very high. Very high. And I think when you look at the sell-on, it's going for someone like him. Look, I know Sunderland have been promoted. But what we've learned about Sunderland, and there are so many examples of this, is there is always a fee that you can get a player for. So once again, we've got Jayden Bogle there. But if you brought in someone like him, you said, look, you fight for it. You fight for it. But then I don't know if Leeds are going to be focused on that position, which I respect and I get it. But yeah, if I'm to pick, a lot of you say to me, if Sheffield United happened, if Sunderland happened, whoever stayed down, who would you pick? He'd have been number one, 100%. He'd have been number one for me. So I don't know. Leeds are interested in him. There's been rumours in January. There's been rumours in the summer. I've just mentioned the shortlist when it comes to Hume. Leeds have been interested in him. Apparently, Leeds have even talked to Sunderland about him. Okay. Max Aarons is a very similar thing. But I tell you what, if you are giving me a pick of one of those two, it is Hume every day of the week. Every day of the week. So what do you guys think in the comment section below? Didn't you say, Connor, that Bogle was the best right back in the league? Yeah. I've not said he's not. Hume, not very good on the ball. Really, Rune? Rune, if you... okay, fair enough. Look, it's your opinion, mate. It's your opinion. Johnny said Kyle Walker-Peters as well. Look, I think the big thing to talk about as well is Kyle Walker-Peters. And I think a lot of you guys are bang on with what you're saying as well. If you're looking at the cost-effective option, Max Aarons for 12 million quid or Kyle Walker-Peters. Apparently, Walker-Peters as well is looking for around about 75 grand a week, if you to believe reports. Junior Firpo apparently was going to be offered with this juicy offer in excess of 150 grand a week. But apparently, Kyle Walker-Peters is looking for about 75 grand a week, according to reports. I really like Kyle Walker-Peters, of course, a bit of a Swiss Army knife. The only reason I mention Hume is because I've watched him again at the weekend, and I'm like, he'd be a brilliant one. He'd be a lovely, lovely addition. But yes, Kyle Walker-Peters is definitely one that we're looking at. Who are we talking about here, mate? We're talking about Brenden Aaronson or Try Hume. Aarons, I think, will be too expensive. Tete and Kyle Walker-Peters. Tete is another really good one, Lewis. There's a lot that is actually an excellent point there by Lewis, and he's someone who we spoke about with Oscar. Tete, Kyle Walker-Peters, Semedo, and Try Hume. Try all over Max Aarons for me. Look, Bogle 100% is the starting right back at Leeds United, but he might not be. Might not be if he doesn't perform. That's how ruthless I'm looking at this. If he doesn't perform, he's out. Okay, and if he's getting caught out, which Sheffield United fans will tell you in the Premier League he does, if he gets caught out and that's continuously happening, he's out. And you've got to have someone who is very, very decent to come in and replicate that, you know, waiting in the wings. Or we might have a preseason with said player, with Kyle Walker-Peters, with Kenny Tete, with players like that. Bear in mind, Tete's been a really good servant for Fulham. Players of that ilk, and you would think to yourself that if you think to yourself that they would come in and do a really good job. I'd be a little bit worried if we did go out and get Max Aarons, because I'm kind of looking at that and I'm thinking that's Farker. And there are better options out there. But the context is, are we then going to go out and get all these players because there's going to be so much competition for them? Kenny Tete, there'll be loads for him. Kyle Walker-Peters, there's going to be loads of competition for him. We're all aware of that. There's even talk of been Tottenham looking at him. Semedo, Wolves captain. I just think there are a lot better options out there than Max Aarons. I really do. This guy struggled to get in at Bournemouth at any point, really, when they signed him, which was, quite hilarious after the saga that went through with it, really. Jam says, KWP for me out of those options. James says, I do want Bogle to start, but he's had no competition. I agree, James. I agree. I think there's got to be competition everywhere, mate. Completely agree with that. I don't know. Some of you guys, I don't know if you're responding to each other. I think you are. I would have read some of them out. But I've no idea if you're talking to me or others in the chat. Semedo had removals at his house this week. We live near Wolves, and it's been shown a lot. He's defo signed somewhere. Fair enough, Chris. Live near Wolves, the Black Country. Kyle Walker-Peters is better and free and covering at both flanks. We never just move on and go for someone. Always pass transfers. Loan option to buy. Agreed on Max Aarons. Sack him off. I can't say how much this annoys me. Look, dude. Sonny, I know who you are. You've been a subscriber on the channel for ages. And I don't want to get into this too much because I have to do this every single window. Every single window when we do this. This is called the rumor mill. Rumor. Define rumor. This is not consolidation. It's not confirmed. I always say this. It's about discourse, discussion, and debate. We pick out targets, some rumored, some not, which is what I said at the start of the video, Sonny. And you've watched this for ages, mate. I feel like a parent telling you off here. There is no clickbait here whatsoever, my friend. I tell you exactly what is going to be happening. I've always told you exactly what is happening on these shows. If I'm putting in the title, confirmed, if I'm putting in the title, Leeds are going to sign this person, 100%. This is not what this is. This has always been about rumours and discussing it. Okay? Sonny, if you don't like it, get off the video, my friend. You've been a subscriber for a while, mate, so I don't understand why you're randomly putting this in. Maybe you're frustrated because you want to come on these videos and for me to tell you that Leeds are signing 6 players already. That is not what these are about. These videos are not about that. And I'll say that to anybody who's maybe coming on here and expecting me to give you some confirmation, some consolidation. I will do that in due course. Right now, Sonny, this ain't clickbait. I'm telling you exactly what is happening. I'm telling you when they're falsified. I'm telling you when they're a little bit like, it's probably not going to happen, when you're getting this being told to you and this being told to you. I'm not telling you any of these are confirmed, so they're not, okay? So you might as well click off this video, mate, if you don't want that. Rumor, once again, key word. Right, okay, let's get into and look at all the comments in. People want to talk about these things, Sonny. Not many left backs been linked to all seem to be right backs. Yeah, I guess, Chris, when you're kind of looking at the look at maybe Kyle Walker-Peters and when you're looking at Aaron Cresswell as well, I think these are bits of which we can look at and think at least these are left backs that are linked. The ones that I've always said, mate, are Josh Doig Josh Doig at Sassuolo. We've mentioned him so many times. If you guys want a little bit of a look at who Josh Doig is, some of you might not know. This is who he is. Probably around. Well, what background am I going to have here? There we go. That's fine. Right, let's have a look at Josh Doig. Let me just share it for you. Present, share screen. Oh God, I can't do it here. Sorry, I'm on a different profile. Josh Doig. There we go. Okay, 2 seconds, guys. Sorry about this. So this is who he is. Obviously, for Sassuolo, out and out left back. This is who I will be looking at. I've spoken about him for years. Another one as well, Lucanets. Just getting a visual for you guys. Lucanets as well. These are probably the two that I would be looking at as starters for Leeds United. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. And look at there's the Mönchengladbach link as well, of which we know the manager's got some connections to. So potentially that could be it. Heard we're in for oh, I wish, Niran. I wish. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. Anyway. Sonny says, yeah, but we aren't signing any Raphinha-level wingers. Sonny, this isn't what this is, pal. In the title, there's Raphinha-level wingers because we're going to get onto a discussion point. In the title, it doesn't say we're signing a Raphinha-level winger, does it? It was a discussion point that I was going to get onto, mate. That's what I'm saying. If I've got in the title, we're signing a Raphinha-level player, then you can say, Connor, you've been a you-know-what, mate. Come on, stop being naughty, okay? But I've not said that, mate. We're talking about a little bit of positivity that we can get onto when it comes to signings. So as Sonny's just got us into, let's talk about that when it comes to the Raphinha-level signings. Now, I'm so encouraged by this club's level of recruitment and the data that we've spoken about when it comes to the recruitment of the club. And I wanted to sign off on this. Me and Gabe were talking about it last night. I've spoken to Oscar about it in terms of confidence as well when it comes to the wingers and the efficiency of some of these wingers that we're going to be bringing in. Now, from day dot, when we first came into the Premier League, we went to Rennes, Champions League Rennes, top 4 Rennes, and we said, look, do you remember they were calling us fish and chip people as well? Do you remember that? all you guys do when they were trying to insult us is eat fish and chips. That's brilliant. I thought the banter with the Rennes fans was incredible. But effectively, a Champions League club, Leeds United, came up. Big boy Leeds United under Marcelo Bielsa, who is also a bit of a, an attractive thing when you're looking at Leeds. Someone who you could argue it was bigger than the club. Bringing in Raphinha. Raphinha still talks about him today, still talks about how incredible he was for his career. He wouldn't be where he was without Marcelo Bielsa, which he never really saw behind the curtain, which is amazing. It's still great to hear now, especially after he won the domestic treble with Barcelona. But I wanted to talk about the level wingers that we've been looking at. And we mentioned it last night when we were talking about Sinisterra. Sinisterra, for everything he did, we all thought that he was going to be that Raphinha level winger. When he came in, so we bought Raphinha for 17 million quid. Obviously, that absolute brilliant stuff happened with him. Excellent. And then obviously went into the following summer, so maybe the summer afterwards, and we went in and we brought Sinisterra. We also, in the January window, went out and brought Willian Yonto for 4.5 million quid, which is obviously going to look absolutely amazing on the spreadsheet as well. We've also gone out and brought Ladji Ramzani for 7 million quid. And there's an argument you could say Dan James, obviously, although I think we paid quite a bit of money for Dan James. But the point being is the Raphinha level wingers in terms of Leeds United going out and the proposed level of which Sinisterra was when we brought him in and how good he was. It was very much of that with Raphinha. We're all saying it at the time, we're like, my God, this guy is top. Different play to Raphinha, not about explosiveness, not too much about the pace and all this sort of stuff. But Sinisterra was that. He was outstanding. Obviously, we brought him in from Feyenoord. And that is the level of recruitment Leeds United have for these wide options. So I think when Leeds United go into the Premier League wide, we are always a massive threat. And that is where you hurt teams. Because I always think with the style of football that we are in now when it comes to literally right wing backs and left wing backs when it comes to this era that we're living in now, system-based football, but literally left wing backs and right wing backs, effectively just forward players. I think there is so many examples at Leeds United and still players that we've got right now where we encompass skill, pace, acceleration, agility, but just ultimately class when it comes to out wide. And I think Leeds United, for the best part of really 5 to 6 years and plus, have really prioritised wingers. And I think that is where Leeds United have been relatively successful because of that. So I'm really excited to see what wingers we are going to be linked with. If it's Solomon, then Solomon, I think, is maybe underwhelming for some, overwhelming for others. But when we look at the level of wingers that we've brought in for years and years and years, it's been very, very, very high standard. And I think we're going to bring in another one or another two, which is going to be very, very exciting. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. When it comes to the sort of level. I know there's a lot of people talking about Maida as well. Johnny, is it you who's always bringing him up? Maida. But yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion there when it comes to it as well. We're seeing it constantly online when it comes to Leeds linked with wide players. But that has been the fundamental of why a lot of the time Leeds have been successful. You know, our wide players have been better than our strikers, if we've been brutally honest. It's the wide players have just been Leeds' get out of jail card, and we've still got a lot of very good ones. Willian Yonto, Ladji Ramazani, Dan James, again, were very good out wide. And when we've been in the Premier League before, we've seen the likes of Raphinha and Sinisterra. And a lot of people don't like Sinisterra. I understand that. But the thing is with Sinisterra is we're all very aware of, as well as when he was quality, when he was on it, he was the main guy. Somerville, another one, you know. Big players of which Leeds have had previously, which I think we'll be focusing on again. Newman says, let's be real. Getting relegated, been a blessing in disguise because of all the awful players. 100%, mate. That's where you got to get recruitment right. MD Speed says, feel a bit sorry for Jim Bob. Seems like a good guy. Not nice about losing the playoff finals. Don't feel sorry for Sheffield, though. Yeah, I think a lot of you feel sorry for Jim, not Sheffield United, which is kind of where I'm at as well. With it as well. Look, it's not nice. We all know. I know what that trip back from Wembley was like last year. I knew we'd lose, so I wasn't really expecting anything else. But it doesn't take away the horror and the money from for what you do. But their playoff record is horrendous. But I think you'll take it in the long run if we get some of those players. We might get a Michael Cooper for a decent price, maybe a Gus Hamer. I don't think you're going to be feeling sorry that much. That's kind of where I'm at when it comes to Leeds. I know, Sonny. I know, mate. I love you, mate. I know. It's not. I don't like that tag of you are clickbaiting because me and the followers have never been like that, mate. It's always been the rumour mill, and I can change the name if you want to the this isn't confirmed mill. John, should we start that off? This isn't confirmed mill. What about Mavadidi? It's not a bad shout, Sonny. It's not a bad shout, mate. I'd probably be looking at Abdul Fatwu, to be honest, though. That's who I'd be looking at as well. But once again, I think wingers are going to be Leeds' get out of jail card this window, this Premier League campaign again. I'm certain of it. We just seem to prioritise these positions, and we have had very, very good players at that level when you're looking at the quality. Okay, well, this has been the longest one we've had, rumour mill. I never normally go on for, hour and 3 minutes. I'm so sorry if some of you just come here for snippets, but once again, I'm trying to encourage you guys to really get involved in this. I'm sorry if you want it for about half an hour, and I will try speed things up, but I'm just trying to listen to what you guys say and try to talk about it as well. I don't want to come in here and just ignore what you guys say and just talk about, what I think. I want you guys to get your thoughts in the comment section below. I think I'm always encouraged to do this as well because of my Patreons and how much we talk. And if you want to join that, everybody, link in the description below as well. We've got a very popping WhatsApp group on there and an interview with a very famous golf caddy who's a big Leeds fan and kind of spoke about the 49ers on there as well if you want to join that. But thank you so much. This is going to be your only video today. I know I've been doing like multiple videos, but this is going to be your only video today. So shout out to all of you. I will put the timestamps in. If you'd like to listen to this on your dog walk, on your lunch, whatever, I will be putting this on Apple and Spotify. If you want to check One Leeds out on Apple and Spotify and Deezer and all your favorite audio providers, we are on there now. So do us a favor, slap a like. We will be back tomorrow morning, as you guys know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've hit 40. What are we on now? Let's have a look. I should really know this, shouldn't I? You know, it being my business. What are we on? We are on, that's the second channel. Guys, if you want the second channel, by the way, we're doing really well on there as well. But 4712. So shout out to you guys for subscribing and being there. Really appreciate it. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, comment, subscribe again. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.